a source who has known Combs for a decade, tells Rolling Stone. He's always been this way. He's always going to do what he has to do to get out of a situation. He doesn't even like Donald Trump, they add. Well, doesn't that implicate Donald Trump even more? That, like, it's not even as a matter of personal fondness. It's just like, who do you go to who've raped people? You know who's sympathetic to you. Yeah, you need the rape guy. Who do you go to? You need the rape guy. Yeah, obviously. Like Nick Fury for pedophiles. Putting together a team. And it's called the entire GOP. Ongoing and preliminary. So how long do you think it's going to be before we get like the anti-woke Diddy arc? I'm sure he's already said reactionary stuff or whatever, but I mean, like, you know, news interviews from Tucker Carlson about how the deep state is framing him or accusing him or whatever. I mean, it's the same routine every time. Has he already done it? Am I late to the punch? He started reading the Bible during court. Yeah. We know how people like that are when they get caught. Yeah. Reading the Bible during court. Jesus Christ. Oh, sorry. I'm about to approach the stand, but before I can, I'm actually religiously obligated to have receive sacrament right now. Just give me a moment. Let me like perform this out for the jury. Combs has his life in the line too, and he's desperate to be released from the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's moved for a speedy trial, turned down a plea deal, and pleaded not guilty to the 5 federal counts against him. If convicted, the mogul faces 15 years to life in prison. During the private outreach to members of Trump's government social orbit, Combs' allies have tried to paint the rapper's prosecution in decidedly Trumpian terms, playing to the Republican vision of the president as a martyr and perennial victim. In their telling, he and Trump are both successful businessmen and controversial celebrities who have been unfairly targeted by the feds and prosecutors in the Southern District of New York, where they have each had to deal with a barrage of sexual assault allegations that each insists are false. It's in the cinematic parallels. Chills. The words deep state came up once or twice, said one of the sources familiar with the outreach. Yeah. I love Diddy, Trump says in an Old Apprentice episode from 2012. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy, he adds, before asking contestant and a former artist for Combs, Aubrey O'Day, a singer for Danity Kane, is he a good guy? I don't want to answer that question, she responded, to which the future president said that he's going to stick up for him anyway. On Instagram, O'Day hinted she'll testify at Combs' trial in the coming weeks. Celebrities, man. Speaking of the deep state. Yeah. Look, I'm not as caught up on celebrity culture as probably people making more interesting videos. I don't know. It's the Nick Fury for pedophiles thing. It's just so fucking predictable, man. You know? It's so consistent. It's like every sex offense just whoop. Honestly, the only counterexample that I can think of that immediately comes to mind in terms of like a sex offender who is didn't like him. Well, no, because I was about to say Andrew Cuomo. But Cuomo was largely denounced by Democrats when he stepped down. And right now he's running as this weird, like, pseudo-Republican centrist. And the people who are backing him aren't backing him on, like, a Democratic mandate. They're doing it in, like, a anti-left, pro-Israel kind of way. You know? Bill Clinton's the only one I can think of. Yeah, I guess so. Genuinely, yeah, I guess so. Well, even Bill Clinton isn't quite the same, though, because I'm talking about people who, like, wildly shift to the right in an effort to avoid culpability for their sex crimes. Bill Clinton was already the Democratic president. I guess even Cuomo was already, you know, the, Democratic politician as well. It's just so consistent. I don't know. How do we still have more segments to cover? Conservatives don't believe in consent. That is true. Ideologically, yeah, like they kind of have to not. A misunderstanding of or like active rejection of consent is pretty important to their social and political ethos. A lot of them don't know it, by the way. You know, the vast majority of people in that category don't think of themselves as rapists. It's not like a cognitive immorality, like a conscious one on their part, you know? Not to say that's excusable, just to say it's like it comes from a different place psychologically. What do we got?